too disheartened whenever you're actually in the arena here. So I think that's always really important if you're trying to keep that strong player mentality going.
Well, here it is time for picks and bans in game number 2. It's do or die for CAZ. If they lose this, they're going to be out for the race of getting into Worlds. If they win, they're still in it. They can also play spoiler though, however.
That's probably the most important thing that I think many are looking for in CAZ, is that they would ideally want CAZ to have that spoiler effect against Astral, but of course, Astral Authority not really wanting to take any chances against this team. No matter how free it might seem, it's never free until they get Titan actually falls.
No, definitely not at all. You know, Transsonic's going for a very Season 2, Season 3-esque build yesterday, but today switching things up a little bit more traditionally, finally picking up the Executioner, trying to get that late game penetration option online.
I think he likes to do that if he gets behind early. It's obviously cheaper. It helps him fight the person who is ahead of him, but I just don't think it's good.
You can salvage the boxing potential in a pure 1v1 as an ADC if you fall behind with that Ickfall over the Executioner, but the sacrifice that you make towards the team composition and the team dynamic typically doesn't make it worthwhile. So, of course, Brachacho, he could not get over that yesterday. I highly doubt that we'll ever see Transonics pick it up, at least not at this LAN. So it's clear that Astral has definitely been doing their homework, and that's probably the big thing that Brachacho has really been focusing on, is making sure that the team stays on track.
And CAZ making some necessary adjustments, banning away the Osiris from Wolves, playing very aggressive, paired up with Thor from Chaotic Purpose, one of the strongest solo jungle combinations you could actually ever have in all of SMITE.
And when you're looking at Astral for their secondary ban, there wasn't really anything that gave them issues against CAZ. So is this more Astral maybe getting to have a little bit more fun with their draft?
Potentially, because last game they banned away the Kabrakan here in this position, but this time around with this Osiris ban, this leaves Kakolin on the table. So now Astral have to think, do they ban the Kakolin or do they take away the Kabrakan yet again?
I feel that, well, Kukolin's going to get through, and that's definitely a god that you do not want wolves on. That's one of his 4. And I'm not sure. I don't think Turtle has it. He's more like a tankier, like Guardian solo type player.
Seems that way for sure. With the soul ban from Astral, at least leads me to believe that they want the Kakolin open and the Kabrakan so that they could get one or the other.
Yeah, absolutely.
And with CAZ selecting this Kakolin, do you think that would raise some concerns for Astral? Because Kakolin is notorious for having that high pressure, high damage early on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very good pick. Like we said earlier, the jungler for CAZ is an actual soul lane player, so it's going to be comfortable for him.
That's its Kabrakan pick there, like we were talking about before. It's picking a safe hunter there, the Hu Yi, being able to jump away from danger over walls, controlling so much space in these jungle encounter teamfights by dropping the Suns. Makes it more tricky now for this Kakolin to dive the backline, because those Suns could deter the backline from following up on the initiation.
And I'm really loving that Hu Yi pickup, though, for Astral Authority, just because it's been a very strong hunter as far as aggression is concerned. And I think Atonement was actually doing a pretty solid job on this Hu Yi as well. Just got ganked a couple of times. It doesn't really tend to work out whenever one team starts to get some of that snowball aspect running. But hopefully this time around, or at least for Transonics, he's going to have a little bit more leeway as far as pushing up into the lane.
It was CAZ that first picked the Hu Yi last game, and I think that's what Astral were banking on, the fact that the Kakolin or the Hu Yi were going to get picked, that they would get the other. Uller is going to be the secondary hunter selection now for Atonement. More of a boxing potential threat, an aggressive hunter against another one.
I think they do well into each other, to be honest. I like the Hu Yi takeaway from Atonement. And I think it's a really good team fight comp they have so far with just Kabrakan and Hu Yi. Their ults can do really well together.
Especially with the Ricochet, just being able to ping-pong inside those walls.
Yep, absolutely. It's a great pick.
You think Astral's sweating a little bit because the other EU hunter that brought out the Uller pick got a pentakill, and that's Vaporish Coast. You think EU's got something going on with this Uller selection?
Might be something in the water over there.
Late game Uller is no joke. You know, the amount of lifesteal that you get in that axe stance, you can never really take that for granted, especially when you're a late game jungler, warrior, soul laner, doesn't matter. If you're going to be in the face of an Uller late game, you better be prepared for that stance switch.
And Astral, it's an AMC as that third pick selection, so this could possibly, or I'm expecting it to be Covey on that AMC.
Yeah, I definitely think that's what's going to happen.
And this is a good idea here because of just how much physical damage base-wise that the Muzenka brings to the table. It's a similar mage-esque style without having the magical damage.
Would you have any concerns for CAZ if they don't elect to ban away the Fafnir, that Astral Authority are just going to automatically select it?
I believe that's what will happen if they don't get rid of it. It seems like almost everybody here really likes Fafnir and can play it at a high level, obviously, and 2 ADCs, it's what you want.
Honestly, if I'm Astral, I wouldn't be banking on having Fafnir because you still have Shogun's Kusari that can easily augment the attack speed from both those 2 physical hunters. So you shouldn't solely rely on a Fafnir every time you're doing either a double physical hunter composition or 1 physical hunter, 1 magical hunter.
And it is going to be a Geb's choice instead, so Brochacho wanted to focus a little bit more on keeping his carries alive and combating that against the Ares. How do you think this is going to shake out, actually, Vulcan?
I love that pick. There's no CC immunity on Hou-Yi, on Cabrakan, on AMC. Geb actually does pretty bad into it. He has to use his Cataclysm. I think it was the perfect pick.
A very aggressive option indeed, and now this is going to be faring well with how aggressive the rest of CAZ's composition is. Serket wants to be aggressive, and Ares can definitely augment that and just maybe force out some beads, allowing Serket to dive in the backline after the fact, maybe using a blink later down the road.
Would you be concerned that this Geb pick, though, is going to completely negate a lot of what Serket is trying to accomplish, at least during the early and mid-game portion?
Serket, yes, indeed, because that's individual focused targeting, but Ares, no. As long as he can consistently hit the chains on 3 different targets or hitting his ultimate on 2 or more, then Geb can't cleanse multiple targets.
No, it can't. I love the Geb pick to counteract what Serket does, but I love the Ares into it because he can force his hand.
And it's going to be Chalk rounding everything off for Astral Authority, and I can't see anybody else piloting that. I mean, I'd imagine it to be Wolves on that Chalk.
Absolutely. I think Wolves is going to be playing this Chalk in the solo lane. Not a god that's had the most love from casters and players alike, but some people are very comfortable with it.
Well, drafts have been locked in and secured. Looking at these 2 teams, though, do you think Astral's going to close it out with a 2-0?
I think CAZ has a very aggressive strategy, but they require too much execution. I think that Astral have a safer standard composition, and I got to give it to Astral.
Astral?
You got to feel
I'm going to take the over on 5 kills, though.
You're going to take the over. Okay, well, we'll be able to find out whether or not CAZ are going to be able to make a comeback or if Astral's just going to close it out for their 3 points. We've got Aggro, we've got Finch, and we've got game number 2.
Thank you, Taco. Astral going up against CAZ for game 2, and I think Toli said it best. CAZ has a high execution comp they've drafted here.
They do, and the risk reward is there. If they're accurate, if they're able to find the CC, that'll work out beautifully. But if they don't, then there's not a lot to follow up with there.
No, it'll be rough for him if the execution falls off for him. I mean, with the Ares, if Ares is not even or ahead, I mean, he's kind of not there for you. So they definitely need to make sure they're getting the most they can out of this pick. I mean, same for Serket. I mean, like, they got to be getting the most out of these.
Without a doubt. Now, on the other side, Astral with this Cabrakan pick, it didn't work out yesterday very well for them. This time, and it's got a couple picks that it really shuts down well. Does great against the Hebo. As long as you can wait for the knockup, that Tremor is really tough for him to deal with. The walls do great against him. Ares as well. I mean, Ares does good into the Cabrakan with the ultimate pulling him in without the CC immunity. But as long as KP goes beads, that's going to be a real easy lockdown for him. So this could be tough to deal with this Cabrakan, but that's what I'm looking at because that was the pick that didn't do too well for Astral yesterday, and I was kind of surprised they went back to it today.
But what about this Chalk pick here too? I mean, they've gone with essentially the triple tank comp that we've seen so much of, the double physical hunters and that triple tank comp. What are they looking for to get out of this Chalk pick?
Just pressure, just more pressure like they had the Osiris in the game 1 of this set. And Wolves has played Chalk a couple times. He's looked very, very strong on it.
Sure. And
it can disrupt what Ares and Serket want to do with that silence. That silence can be really potent, especially against Serket, who has to latch onto someone with the last breath. You can time it so that as soon as she comes down off that, she's silenced and can't get away. That's what I'm looking for for Wolves on this chalk to kind of disrupt what Cullen's doing. You can silence him right as he's transforming so that he has a tough time trying to get those abilities off to escape. And Wolves is one of the guys that has had success on the chalk and has proven that he can carry games with it.
This to me feels like CAZ Esports saying, if we don't win this game early, then we probably don't win the game. I mean, this Ares pick really needs to get off to a really good start. The Circuit pick, in particular, really needs to get off to a good start for him. If those guys struggle and fall behind, then I don't know how you're going to beat that double Hunter comp once it gets online.
Well, Hebo can do it. I mean, Hebo can be that late game sort of what just happened to me. I mean, we saw what happened in the set with Elevate where Dr. L's playing the Hebo and is behind, and then all of a sudden almost one-shots both squishies with one blink ult. Certainly on the table here for CAZ, but you're right. If they get off to a bad start, I'm not sure that this Hebo is going to get the chance to make that game-changing play in the later stages.
What scares me here, though, is that they've got the Geb pick, and I think this is what, when we saw Elevate start running this very similar composition, this is what really one of the key pieces was, because it kept the two carries so safe. So yeah, even if there is someone that can blow him up, I mean, that Geb pick, it's on Brochacho to keep him alive through that damage, and if he does, then it'll be a real tall task for Astral Authority, but it is going to be Wolves taking that chalk solo, KP on the Cabrakan there, in the jungle form, and Covey has it a Moose and Cobb, so they're going about where we expect.
No beads, though, here for Chaotic Purpose. Very risky, not only against the Ares, but against the Circuit lockdown as well. That's an easy way for CAZ to get off to an early lead, is to just pick on that Cabrakan jungle early on. Also love the adjustment that Mr. Turtle makes in that solo lane. He got killed by that horrific emblem early on. There's the blink chains in onto Transonics. There's Brochacho here as well, here to stop those chains from coming in. Bradley might be the one in trouble now.
Yeah, they were happy to turn back around and try and put some return damage onto the Ares, but both blinks already expended there in the early game to try and get off to a good start. So not quite happened, but they got good damage on the Transonics.
And they got his purification beads as well, which is very, very important. If there's a guy who knows how to play against the Ares, it's Brochacho. I mean, he wants to play Ares every game if you'll let him. So he knows that what's difficult for Ares to deal with, and that's that knockups in between the chains, just try and disrupt the timing of them coming out.
Atonement looks like he's going to stick with Alexim here. Well, as soon as they break apart, so there you go. Coming over to this red buff. Already, though, Brochacho alone in the duo lane, kind of getting that farm a little bit to himself, and then after getting their buffs, that's when we're going to see the rest of CAZ Esports rotate over there to meet that wave themselves. And he's letting it actually kind of freeze the wave, letting some of that experience die, so that's a good call.
And this wave, because of the extra archer on CAZ's side, is actually going to push farther than they expect. Wolves under some pressure, but a good stun onto Hotaru from Chaotic Purpose actually forces out his purification beads. Nice play there, because it looked like Wolves might be in some danger, but that early game Cabrakan damage is a little bit too much.
And I'm a little surprised. This is the 2v2 that went so poorly for them last game. So, I mean, CAZ clearly not afraid to come up and take that fight again. So, I mean, if you're on a team where you're up against big boys like this, that's what you want. They ain't afraid to take the fight.
True. I mean, it shows some resilience from CAZ, and they certainly have it. But, you know, resilience isn't going to get you the win necessarily. You've got to be resilient and be able to make the plays in order to close the game out.
Coming back over there to the lane is going to be Astral Authority. Wolves and Chaotic Purpose ready to go and start farming it up. They left Covey here, it looks like, alone in the mid lane, up against the pressure from Alexim, along with, looks like Bradley's there with him too. So they trust him on that Amusen Cobb to be able to farm safely on his own, and with that high clear, it shouldn't be too big a problem.
Exactly. Now, once Alexim gets to level 12, has the blink, once Hotaru hits level 12, gets the blink, now Covey's in a lot of trouble by himself in that mid lane because AMC has no innate escape. But until that point, I mean, Alexim needs to get pretty close, still needs to be worried about Hotaru jumping up and over the wall, trying to close that gap quickly with the Circuit. That is still a concern for Covey, but as long as they've got eyes on the Circuit, and she's been on the right side of the map really the entire game so far, then it's not too worrying for Covey to be pushed up by himself in the mid lane.
It is worrying, though, for Wolves, who's under pressure, tosses the hammer, and immediately covering the option is Hotaru. He teleports back to it, and then Hotaru's right there, unable to finish it off, though, with the rotation of Chaotic Purpose and Covey coming in, so Wolves makes it out of the 2v1 alive.
I like just waiting to teleport in there until the heal is up. Once he had that rain to come down and heal him up, he's not too worried about teleporting right in front of the opposition.
Plus, especially with that slow there as well, rotating over as Alexim here. Chaotic Purpose has the ultimate and drops down the tectonic shift. Alexim has nowhere to go. Covey takes him down with the stinger. First blood goes over to the mid laner for Astral Authority.
And Wolves is going to pick one up, 2v1 on that side, and Mr. Turtle's forced back as well. That's a quick 2 kills for Astral Authority, and you know, we looked at the not having beads, picking up Blink instead, for this Cabrakan jungle. When you get to play aggressive, then you're good.
Yeah, Brochacho's here, blinking in with the Cataclysm, knocking him up. Wolves takes that kill. He's running the solo lane right now, aggro, into the 2v1. And that's the flip side of that resilience I talked about, where maybe they shouldn't have gone in that hard on the Chalk.
And Chalk now having a level lead, going to be able to back, getting close to finishing off those boots. Surprised that he can't finish them off entirely, having gotten 2 kills already, but Wolves just going to utilize this lead already. Lucky for CAZ and well-timed that they were able to at least put some pressure and make Wolves back right before the speed buff spawns, because you know how hard Astral Authority was going on at last game. It's probably going to be more of the same. They'll be able to secure this set of buffs on the right-hand side, but bet that Astral Authority is going to be there for the next one.
And they do all this away from probably the best early game part of CAZ Esports, that Ares. It's over there on that solo jungle part. They don't want to get pulled in. Bradley wasn't even level 5 yet. I think he just ticked over to level 5 just now. So even if he had been around, they wouldn't have had to worry about it. But that's where they want to try and get their pressure.
Exactly. And it goes back to Brochacho picking up boots this early on as well. He didn't go for the low-nose mask. I don't believe he had full boots on that gank on the right-hand side, but Hotaru 1 HP. Blink going to be up in 5 seconds. He's going to turn around trying to create some extra distance between himself and Chaotic Purpose. KP doesn't have a speed buff, and Hotaru does. With help from that water carpet, he will actually get out of danger.
Bradley could be in trouble. Suns drop down in. The jump over the top gets the stun. Transsonic's perfect, getting that kill, and Mr. Turtle got isolated, taken down by Chaotic Purpose. It's trouble all across the map for CAZ Esports.
More of the same from Astral Authority. Dominant in every lane so far. They have not let up the gas after that dominant performance in game number 1. And they're looking for it again in the mid lane.
And Alexum is gone. 1 minute there, 1 minute not. Even picking up the stinger underneath the tower is Kobe. Brochacho hold the aggro for him, buddy, letting him get it back.
That's tough. I mean, this is tough for CAZ. Where do you even look? I mean, Bradley's already 2 levels down on the Ares and has picked up tank boots, which is a good decision because he's going to be getting CC chained quite a bit with this Cabrakan in the jungle. But still, even without it, I mean, or even with it, I should say, you're not going to be able to sustain the damage from Chaotic Purpose, who's up 2 levels on you already. Even Brochacho is going to be hitting you pretty hard with that Shockwave being level 7 at this point in the game.
Yeah, this is going to be rough for CAZ Esports. Already, Astral Authority is getting close to 3,000 gold out in front. They're up 6-0, only 6 minutes here into the game. The experience difference, as you highlighted, is going to be rough too. Blinking in as Bradley gets the pull into some damage here. Cirquette's here as well. The crushing wave doesn't quite hit Alexum now in no man's land, and Covey happy to clean that one up. Brochacho's here with the knockup. Covey doesn't quite have the follow-up just yet, but that's enough to force him back. Could be trouble into the tower. He actually cleans up. Hotaru gets a double kill for Covey.
That's this set so far in a nutshell, basically. It's CAZ giving it a shot. Atonement that's actually going to be able to find Covey on the rotation. That's a good look for CAZ to get that extra boost of gold, and Covey was worth more than anybody else, being at 4-0 at that point in the game. But Alexum off the mark with that ultimate. He gets backstepped by Chaotic Purpose, and then Covey is right there. Transsonic's going in here?
Transsonic's went in aggressively. Knew he had the Geb shield from Brochacho. They turn around and Mr. Turtle, easy peasy. Transsonic's looking like the god that he is. More wolves, drops down the storm call and backs off.
Ooh, that action's off the mark. Hotaru's here and does have that ultimate. Throws Wolves back out. Now he's going to chase him with the ambush, but the Geb shield is there. That's not the look that you want.
No, Tectonic Shift, though, is the look that they wanted. Locking Hotaru down, forced to dash back in the wrong direction. The hammer easy enough for more Wolves to clean that one up. The last place that you want more golden experience going is to him on that Shock solo.
I mean, this is just, it's clear as day. It's just CAZ is being outclassed here. Player for player, Astral Authority is, it's no necessary slight at CAZ. I mean, Astral Authority has 5 of the best players in the league, not just in their region or in their roles, but period. They're 5 incredible players, but CAZ just has not been able to keep up in strategy nor in mechanics so far, and that's how you end up getting beat like this, basically.
Yeah, this has been a real rough start here to it for CAZ Esports, as now Astral set up about 3,500 gold or so in the lead, 10-1. The only kill they got back was on the rotation from Atonement, I believe, into the middle lane, able to find a bit of a return pick. But that was what we saw, was some of the trust from them in that last engagement. Some of that shot call that you were talking about, how important it is, where Transonics jumps back in and knows that he has Brochacho there to help.
I don't know if Brochacho is letting him know, and that's the types of comms you can expect from him, as Bradley's in some trouble on the right-hand side. Nice knock-up to prevent the follow-up from Chaotic Purpose, and that might actually get Bradley out. Indeed it will. Meanwhile, Astral gets a free Gold Fury, but KP in a bit of trouble on this right-hand side. Hotaru coming, but doesn't have an ultimate available.
Instead, goes for more wolves, but the turnaround damage chaotic purpose was way too much. Using the ultimate from Alexum onto Brochacho, I believe. Didn't really get what he wanted because he didn't get the target that he wanted, and Geb able to just kind of walk away.
That was good team play again by Astral Authority. And look, that play there on the right-hand side, Mr. Turtle does a good job because if Chaotic Purpose is able to use that first ability, use the Seismic Crush to try and crush down Bradley before the ultimate goes off, then that Ares is dead, and all of a sudden that tower might end up going down on the solo side. But good job by Mr. Turtle to disrupt what Chaotic Purpose wanted to do on the Cabrakan to make sure that his Ares at least got the ultimate off, and ultimately ended up living as well.
And I think what we've seen in this game also, Aggro, is how important the Geb is to the triple tank comp, to that triple tank 200s, because there have been a couple times where CAZ almost had a couple return kills, like on the Transonics, the Circuit Poison was ticking onto Astral Authority as well, and the Geb shield came up clutch.
Exactly, and that's just, I mean, you could, in my mind, as a squishy backliner, I just want Geb every game, because not only is his setup phenomenal, but his peel is great too. Geb shield, getting saved by Geb shield, I mean, that's true love, like looking at your support and just being like, thank you. You just actually, I was so dead until you showed up with that Geb shield. It was just one of the most all-around supports. I always want a Geb on my team, man. That's because I'm usually just getting dove and need a shield.
It's also the easiest one if you're one of those carriers to know when you've been saved. It's just obvious. Like, thanks for getting me out of there. Alexum gets trapped in the wall, though, with the ultimate chaotic purpose. Takes down Hotaru. Alexum not too far. Covey ends up getting credit for that one. It is a three-man pull here. The Cataclysm keeps Brochacho safe, and it's chaotic purpose walking down the Ares.
Love this. Look at Brochacho just tanking up that tower. Now he's going to be regretting it, though, because Mr. Turtle comes around the back and gets a free kill there. The tower did 90% of the work for him, but Covey, that is allowing his team to go in and dive that. That's so classic Brochacho.
Getting that double kill there. That ricochet only just barely off the mark from Transonics. We saw his ultimate crashing on the ground there, so I believe they did have a bit of a fight over here in that dual lane, and Transonics came out the better for it, looking to go in aggressive on Atonement, who's not wanting to back up. Crash down, gets the stun, and gets the solo kill, finishes him off, no problem.
Atonement just got to stay in axe stance there. If you get knocked up in bow stance, there's no way you're going to be able to switch over and jump away. Remember, this is playing on the 4.19 patch, so Ullr's not quite as smooth as he is now. That's just a mistake that Atonement is probably going to be regretting later on.
Mr. Turtle standing toe-to-toe with more wolves here. Not able to quite push him back. Instead, it looks like the Portal Demon is the one that's going to be in trouble, getting pulled by Astral Authority, but they're just trying to bait in a bad engagement here out of Mr. Turtle. They drop it for the moment. Covey stays on it, but they continue to push in on him.
That's the power of those Hive regens. Covey has no innate lifesteal in that build. It's just using the HP 5 and that extra power from the Transcendence to find that at Portal Demon.
Chain does land a chaotic purpose, but he drops the tectonic shift onto Alexum. Stop me if you've heard this one before. Brochacho actually gets stopped in the middle by a nice play from Hotaru, saving the life of Alexum very likely. Cataclysm comes out onto Hotaru, forces the beads early, and has to jump away.
Nice play by Alexum to somehow escape there. Not sure how he was able to get out of that one, but it ends up working out. This Hebo pick has been rough so far, and Astral, that's been the real focus so far for Astral Authority. Hotaru has just kind of been in the wrong spots at times and put himself into bad spots to get killed, but Astral themselves has been looking to push the issue onto this Habo in particular.
Well, we talked about it to start this game. I mean, how well could the Circuit and the Ares picks do here in the early game? And they're the ones I feel like that have probably struggled the most, along with Alexum there and that heat on that Habo. They really have not been able to get anything out of them. And Astral Authority, on the other hand, Covey, 6-1-1, looking good in that mid lane. They accelerated his farm early, and it's working for him.
It really has. And in going for the Transcendence, not the preferred build for a lot of AMCs right now, even in the mid lane. Devourer's Gauntlet's just so potent. They're cheap. They stack quickly enough, and you get so much power and lifesteal from them. Covey looking to be a little bit more ability-oriented, and that's kind of understandable, understanding that he's a mid-mage, and that's what he's more familiar with. But I still think Devo is a little bit better overall, because then it allows him to build into Executioner early on, and you can have the double Executioner on Transonics and on Covey to shred multiple targets and really be impactful in that regard.
Yeah, Covey's feeling real good. Got that blink now for him, so he's looking to, I guess, blink Stinger.
Oh, we're there
go
already?
in and blow him up, yeah.
Oh, okay, we're there. Good to know.
Yeah, that's where we are right now. He's feeling good. He's ready to...
that's just... Look, there's no amount of analysis that tells me that Blink AMC is the way to go, except for that Astral Authority's toying with their food.
They're feeling themselves. Yeah, that's about all that there is to it. Chaotic Purpose Getting a little bit of counter warding going on, trying to limit the vision of CAZ Esports. Blink in from Brochacho, Cataclysm on the 2, knocks up Hotaru. Chaotic Purpose is there to follow up, but he actually is able to jump away on the back end as Mr. Turtle needs to rethink that, and he is going to remove himself.
Brochacho's asking, where was the blink to KP? Because that's what he expected. There's the blink from Covey in the mid lane, and Alexum is going to fall to it.
And now it's the pull coming out from the Ares, pulling them back in. But I don't know if you actually want to just surround yourself. Chaotic Purpose is cleaning up Hotaru. Kovi's low in the back, but Mr. Turtle just doesn't have the damage, and yet he does. See you later to Covey. That's an important kill he gets. Now Mr. Turtle's trapped between 4, trying to slow down Transonics, who actually jumps away, still chasing him down. Those Chaotic Purpose is not going to let him get away for free. Mr. Turtle gets taken down.
KP can still go in on the mid lane here if he wants to. A 3-for-1, though, killing Covey, who is worth a lot more gold. That honestly, Covey might be worth more than those 3 members of CAZ combined.
Yeah.
That might actually statistically be in CAZ's favor. Certainly not whenever Astral just goes and gets another Gold Fury under their belt. This will be their 2nd of the game, but Covey's blink ends up paying some dividends for him.
Atonement trying to put pressure on the Wolves over here. The Thorns is ticking, and he's healing. Atonement actually going to need some help here from Alexum. Gold Fury does go down to Astral Authority without any kind of contest here, but Wolves falls to the rotation from 3 members of CAZ.
Just a little bit too much there, Wolves. I mean, even with the Thorns going in there onto Atonement, he almost found the kill, but still ends up dying. And that's the kind of stuff that, look, that's going to need to happen a lot in order for Astral Authority to lose their lead in this game, like 10 to 11 times. But you don't want you want to keep it clean here on land. You know Brochacho is going to look at him later and be like, "Come on, bro. What were you doing there? What are you doing?"
Yeah, he was too far forward. He actually probably could have won the 1v1 if it had just been Atonement, but the rest of them were rotated in, and there was really no way that he was going to make it out in that situation. So instead, ends up falling forward, and as you said, it's okay. Not going to give too much back. Astral Authority still up about 9,000 gold, 17-4 in the kills here, and they're up in the set too, Aggro. They need all these points, and they look well on their way to getting them.
I mean, getting 2-0s in this format to get that extra point, just like it is during the online phase, is absolutely critical. I mean, it's definitely the difference maker between a team who's going to be, you know, a top seed or one who's worried about not even making it.
Getting knocked up here is Brochacho. Blinking in is Bradley looking for the pull. He actually does pull Transonics into the crushing wave, but the damage just isn't there yet. Actually taking him down is Atonement, but immediately returned by Covey, who drops down the Honey Turtle, is actually in the back, coming in, jumping on top of him.
Covey really low on this left-hand side. He's likely to fall here. Hotaru is going to get credit for that one, and now Brochacho might be next. Nice chain up and over the wall by Bradley, but here comes KP.
And he goes right into the back on Alexum, deleting him off the map. Brochacho was in trouble for the moment, but maybe no longer. Mr. Turtle wants to try and keep the pressure going, but now the Chaotic Purpose is here. He's getting controlled. What looked like a good fight gets turned immediately by Chaotic Purpose.
Yeah, if KP doesn't come there, that's actually a huge fight for CAZ. I mean, they still get a couple members and 2 important ones in Transonics and Covey, but they lose 2. You might be able to make that 3 of their own as Mr. Turtle trying to escape. Sprint might be enough to get him out, and indeed it will, but problem for CAZ is that Wolves just chuckled his way to a tier 2 on the right-hand side.
And now that Phoenix on the right side is exposed, only 2 tier 2 towers remaining on the map to prevent Astral Authority from pushing into those Phoenixes and eventually the base, as now the map has been spread by Astral Authority. That's what's so rough when there's a lead in literally every lane. Even when it looks like maybe you're winning a fight in left, I mean, Wolves has no problem pushing all the way through and taking a tower in that solo lane side. Now Portal Demon is in the eyes of Astral Authority.
Atonement here, but he's standing right on a ward, and here comes Chaotic Purpose. He's going to find the stun onto Atonement, who doesn't have the purification beads, but no ultimate, though. That Portal Demon has actually stolen by Astral Authority, or stolen away from Astral Authority. I believe that was Alexum who got it with the water spout.
Yeah, CAZ Esports able to take that Portal Demon. Just getting some farm back is big for them. Brochacho blinking in, knocking out Mr. Turtle. Bradley goes for the pull, doesn't successfully get anyone. He gets blown up for the trouble in the back. Just nowhere near enough damage coming out from Hotaru. Alexum comes in, though, and that's enough to finish out Covey. Atonement having to jump away as Mr. Turtle gets Brochacho, as well as Transonics. A double kill for the solo laner, and Transonics is able to take down Alexum.
Wolves still plenty healthy, though. Chaotic Purpose, no mana, means that he can't continue this kill, but that's a 3-for-2 in favor of CAZ. They seal away the Portal Demon as well, and Wolves need to be careful because Atonement just came through the portal and hit him with an axe.
And now they've got him locked down, goes up to the Stormcall, jumps over it, does Hotaru. Those are the mechanics we're looking for Horrific Emblem to slow him down, actually baits them, goes back towards the hammer. Now he should be safe, even with Bradley coming in. The max axe stun, though, is enough to slow him down for the moment.
Wolves going to have the axe throw soon, though. A nice route by Mr. Turtle, and going to continue this chase. There's Hotaru covering the option, but Wolves sticking to his current path. Cue the Benny Hill music, because this one might go on for a while.
Yeah, Wolves is leading him on a chase here, and he's happy to continue to do it. Now meeting up with Alexum, this might be the damage that CAZ Esports need to finally put an end to this one. Wolves just kind of waiting on the inevitable, goes back in and gives it to Atonement. Perhaps wondering who does he want to give that kill to, Agro?
Yeah, that's who do I want to give, exactly, the gift of who he wants to give it to. Honestly, Astral may have, if Wolves buys a little bit more time, may have actually been able to do Fire Giant. That's exactly where they're going. Remember, still have 2 Hunters that can shred this very quickly.
Still have an 8,000 gold lead to Chaotic Purpose, getting the water spout, but it only serves to bring him closer, a little bit off the mark with that tectonic shift. Alexum able to get out of there this time, but this time it's Bradley who's locked down, has a couple chains going, but jumping over aggressively is Transonics. They didn't quite have the damage to finish it. 3-man knockup from Mr. Turtle. Cataclysm, though, shuts down that aggression. Chaotic Purpose is here. Transonics takes down Mr. Turtle.
Tran's gonna die to that last breath. This time it doesn't spread. Hotaru's had quite the impact with that ultimate. Last fight, it spread to 3 different people. Started on Covey, went to Brochacho, ended on Transonics. But Astral's starting to get kind of sloppy here. That's a couple fights in a row that have not gone their way.
Blink in by Alexum was ambitious. Immediately gets the return damage from Chaotic Purpose, and he'll have to back off. Not able to quite get what he was looking for.
Yeah, that's and even if he hits that knockup, I don't think that ends up being a kill for CAZ either way. I mean, Chaotic Purpose is built full tank, basically. He went Void Stone straight into some physical protection, some cooldown with that Breastplate of Valor. Now, I mean, Astral, they've had their fun. They've played with their food. It's time to start taking it seriously again, because it's not going to be too long. 8,000 gold, still a massive lead at 20 minutes. But as we mentioned, late game, this Habwa is going to be a problem. Whether Astral recognizes that or not is the question, and will they start to focus up a little bit better during these team fights?
And they do still only have 2 beads. Going to be relying on some of the CC immunity granted to him in other areas to try and deal with his areas as well. So, I mean, he can still force out some important cooldowns and try and set up for this CAZ team. Astral Authority, though, maybe they are looking to put this on the bed. Got that Gold Fury started up, below half health already. Brochacho getting knocked up. Brochacho getting deleted. Alexum will take credit for that one. Gold Fury was dropped, and Transonics takes down Hotaru and jumps in looking for more.
Mr. Turtle with a nice war cry onto 3. Good zone away, and Transonics pretty low. He's going to drop the Suns, trying to create a zone away. And Alexum, where are you going? He's going to fall for free, just in the wrong spot there. No chance to make an impact in that fight.
They really need Alexum's damage, too, so that hurts them that they dropped him in the backside. Transonics is low.
Nice
Mr. Turtle only has eyes for him. He actually does able to find the kill. That's pretty important to slow him down. It's a 2 for 3 overall, still in favor of Astral Authority. And with Covey in tow, they're happy to go back to pulling that Gold Fury.
This is going to be an easy Gold Fury for them. Atonement really the only steal potential with a long-range hail of arrows, but that's why Wolves all the way up front, making sure that's not coming. Good fight, good start off to that fight by CAZ. They blow up Brochacho before he can make an impact, and never got a chance to use Cataclysm. It was on cooldown whenever he died, but that's the guy who's been making it difficult to kill the AMC, the Hu Yi. These Geb shields have been really impactful so far for Astral Authorities. That's a great start to the fight for CAZ. And then Alexum is just in no man's land. I mean, he didn't even have Blink up to try and blink over the wall and make an impact. That positioning just threw the fight for CAZ.
No, they've been relying on Alexum big time, I feel like, in this match so far. It's when Alexum's not there, it kind of looks like they're tickling. When he shows up, then they kind of have a little bit more damage. Dropping him kind of took any chance of them winning that team fight. Mr. Turtle, on the other hand, has been the front line for them, really creating the only disruption that's been going CAZ's way, knocking up multiple members and wishing there was some follow-up, but everyone's just a little bit too far behind right now.
Yeah, Mr. Turtle's had a really good game so far. 5 kills already. He's top of his team in player damage. He's done a great job of being in front of these 2 Hunters, which is not an easy task.
Blink in from Chaotic Purpose onto Alexum. That's the right target. Forces the crushing weight defensively. Tectonic Shift by itself is enough damage to remove the mid lane mage. Atonement forced to duke it out with Wolves in the backline, but Turtle is gone, and this is what we need from Astral. the two most important people gone right away.
Wolves still creating that frontline zone. He's going to get chained, but Transonics and Covey just need a moment to heal up because they're a little bit too weak to be tanking Fire Giant, and that's why they go towards the Portal Demon instead. This is going to give them an option to go back to base, heal up very quickly, and come back and do that FG.
No, that signals to me that Astral's kind of done with this game to me. They've switched now onto the correct targets instead of going for like Hotaru, which they've been doing, instead of Bradley, which they've been doing. Get rid of Alexim and Mr. Turtle so we can end this one. Portal Demon secured in their favor. Hotaru now is the one that's out in too much trouble. He'll have to jump away. More Wolves laughing at the damage from Atonement as they back up. Go to use the Portal Demon to come back and look to pull the Fire Giant.
Surprised that they aren't going straight to that Fire Giant. I'm with you, Finch. I thought that's where they were heading, but said they decided to back it up, and not really sure why. That's a really good opportunity for Astral to just go for the big objective. Wolves is unkillable right now.
Wolves going in. Bradley's the one that's been isolated by the tectonic shift this time. Otaru comes in, but immediately gets hit by that storm call. That was just tough timing on the blink when he comes in. It looks like that's enough to force them off the Fire Giant, though. Transonics jumped away. Otaru actually drops down that last breath poison, doesn't get anything out of it. Bradley dies before he can even get the chains to pull anybody in. Mr. Turtle knocks up two, and he'll have to run away.
The two subs for CAZ Esports go in one by one, and they both fall. Now the rest of the regular roster stuck watching as that Fire Giant getting pretty low already.
And it is going to be low. No way for them to get in past Chaotic Purpose. Brochacho gets credit for that kill. I'm sure he's happy to have his first kill of the match, sitting at 1-3-21. We haven't even talked about just how stellar he's been so far on this Geb. Fire Giant on all 5 members. Tier 2 tower in mid is in the sights of Astral Authority, and it'll come crumbling down.
Cabrakan has just made Alexim want to leave. I mean, he has been all over this Habwa all game long, and Alexim now double digits in the death column.
Well, Alexim knows, man, if he could just make it to the fight, he could possibly turn it around, and it looks like Astral Authority know it too. They're not giving him a moment to breathe. Axe onto Brochacho, but really the damage is coming out into Hotaru, who ends up falling. Kobe gets a kill into Mr. Turtle as well. That's enough to clean up that Phoenix area so they can start pumping in the damage. Mid-Phoenix fallen already. Solo Phoenix fallen right behind it, and Astral might be looking to come barreling into this Titan room and try and end the game.
Not again. Alexim again locked in. He just respawned Chaotic Purpose. Let the man play the game.
He had to do it to him. Surrender votes coming out as well, but that might be a little too late. Astral Authority gonna come in, take down that Titan, and take the